In this video, I'll be reviewing the Garmin Varia RTL 515. For those of you who aren't familiar with this, this is a radar system that lets you know when a car is coming up behind you. I've actually been wanting to pick up one of these for a couple years to use on my gravel bike, so I finally got one. Now the RTL 515 is the one with the integrated taillight. So this will be a fairly comprehensive review because I'll show what you get in the box, I'll talk about how you set it up, and then of course using it. All right, so let's unbox this thing and see what you get inside. So you get a charging cable. I'm not gonna take that out because I've got a bunch of those. And then the mount. So this goes in the back of your seat post, and it's got rubber mounts, different thicknesses. It's got one for an aero seat post. If you have an aero seat post, you're all set. And there's the mount. So this looks like a typical Garmin mount. So it's like the quarter turn mount. And let's take a look at the unit. So there's the unit to give you an idea of the size. It's pretty lightweight. I would imagine it uses a USB-B charger, not USB-C, which I'm right. I wish it were USB-C, but all my Garmin's are USB-B. So just an O-ring, so one O-ring for the mount, so really simple. So that's what you get in the box. Now let's set this thing up and see how it pairs. So I'll be pairing it to my Garmin Edge 1030. This is the computer that I use on my gravel bike. So I didn't show it coming out of the box, but it's got a pretty simple instruction manual. So it's just a 2-page manual. Just kind of gives you some tips on charging. And then I'll just point this out because it's pretty important. So it shows when you mount it, you want to mount it straight up and down, and you want to have enough space above your rear tire. So you don't want to mount it too low because of course that would block the radar sensor. So the power button's on the top, and then every time you push the power button, it goes into a different blinking mode. So just touch the power button and it comes on, and then I held it down for 2 seconds and it shut off. All right, let's power it back on and go through the menus here on the Garmin to get this thing paired up. All right, so on the Garmin, I'm going to swipe down from the top. I'll go to settings, and then I'll go to sensors and add sensor at the top. I'll just go to search all. I've done this several times, like with a heart rate monitor. Okay, that's easy. It just says radar. I'll check that. So yeah, I've paired heart rate monitors, power meters. It's really easy to pair stuff with a Garmin. Hit the check mark, and it's paired. That was super easy. So it doesn't say radar, it just has the number, but I know it's paired. So the next step for the video is to take it out on the road and show you what it's like when a car is coming up behind you. And by the way, if you can see that in the video, there's a little symbol here on the top right of the Garmin, and that lets me know that the radar is on. So I've never seen that before, so I'm assuming that's related to the radar. So I'm figuring this thing out as I do the review here. So setup was super easy. Let's take it out on the road and check it out. I've got the mount on the seat post, and it's really easy to install. So it comes with 2 different size rubber wedges. Well, actually 3. One's for an aero seat post like I showed in the beginning, and then 2 different sizes for a round seat post. So I used the thicker of the 2 rubber wedges, and then the mounts here. And like I said, it's the typical Garmin style quarter turn mount. And so to put this on the bike, you just put it sideways, rotate it, and it locks into place. And it's really in there, like it's not gonna go anywhere. So a slight concern I have is if my rear tire, where it's located now, is gonna block the radar. We're gonna try that when I ride, because I like using a seat bag. I don't typically use a bento box on my gravel bike because it hits my knees. I could probably get used to it, but I really like using a seat pouch. And so that's about as high as I can put the Varia. I think it'll work. We're gonna try it out. I mean, if you drew a straight line, it definitely comes over the tire, but in the little instruction manual, it showed like a 15-degree angle, and I don't know, that's probably right on the border. I'm gonna power on my Garmin Edge 1030, see if I can get it out of the glare there. And up in the corner, the little radar symbol is blinking red to white. That means that the unit is not on. So I'm going to power it on just by holding down the top button for a couple seconds. There we go, the light's on. And you can change the light with the 1030. I'm going to show that in a minute. It's really cool. So now that the Varia is on, that little symbol in the corner is a solid white, and that means the radar is on. So let me show you this little widget here that's now on my unit. So if I swipe down and scroll over, I'm going to scroll over, swipe to the right, you can see, it's kind of hard to see with the glare there, but you've got different patterns of the light. So I'm going to tap solid, that'll make it go solid. I've got flash, I can go off, and then you've got a Peloton mode, which I believe when you're in a group it'll stop blinking. That's a really cool feature. That's something that I've never had in a taillight. I'm going to go back to flash. Something else that I want to point out with this little widget here, and that is you can see the battery level of the radar unit itself, so the whole unit, light or radar. All right, so now let's go for a ride and let's see how this thing works. All right, so I've got a car coming up behind me. You'll see I'll get red bars on the side. That lets me know the car is coming at a high rate of speed. There's one coming up in front of me. Okay, and you'll also see on the right side there's a white dot that moves up the screen. And then after the car passes the, you've got green bars that come up on the side of the screen, then they go away. And so the white dot lets you know how far the car is. So it moves up the screen as the car gets closer, and then right as it's next to you, then the white dot will be at the very top of the screen. This is really cool. I mean, the first time that I had a car coming up behind me, I really had just pulled out of the neighborhood, wasn't even paying attention yet. So what happens, what I do is it lets me know to check my mirror. I always, well, almost always watch my mirror for cars coming up behind me. But there are those times where you're just kind of zoning out, not paying attention, and you know, you get the car coming up behind you. So I ride mainly gravel, but there's always pavement. And this is one of the busiest pavement roads that I have to ride to get out to my gravel segments. And just to be able to be alerted when there's a car, this is a game changer for me. Again, it lets me know it's time to check the mirror, watch the mirror real closely for those cars. And by the way, so first of all, I want to say that the unit works really well in this location. So the rear tire was a non-issue, which is good because I really did not want to give up my seat pouch. And also, it does not pick up cars that, you know, are coming towards you and that go, you know, that pass you going the other way. So those do not affect the unit at all. So it focuses on those cars coming up behind you. All right, another car coming up. Just one more demonstration of how this works. There's my tone, my signal, the red bars on the screen. So you can see that white dot on the right side as the car gets closer. Then right as the car passes me, the white dot goes to the top. The bars on the screen turn green. Garmin says that this will pick up cars about 140 meters away, and I find that to be pretty accurate. All right, let's watch one more time as the car comes up behind me. The Varia does not tell you if a car is giving you enough room. It simply tells you that a car is coming up behind you. And like I said earlier, for me, that puts me on the alert to check my mirror, which everybody should be riding with a mirror. Just a little side note there. So again, it doesn't tell you if a car is going to pass you, you know, within a foot of you or 10 feet of you. It just lets you know it's coming up behind you. One thing that I want to mention here is something that I instantly came to appreciate, and that is I don't have to watch my mirror all the time. I can relax a little bit more, look around, focus more on the ride rather than focusing on what's behind me by just glancing at my mirror. Literally, like probably every 10 seconds I would look down at my mirror just to make sure there's not a car coming up when I'm on pavement. And the Varia, again, just lets me focus on the ride without doing that. I want to show one feature that I just noticed is if I turn the Garmin off, the head unit, the Varia will shut off. That's pretty cool. So that's my review of the Garmin Varia. Simple to set up, simple to mount, simple to use, but to me it's a game changer in terms of safety. What about you? Have you used the Garmin Varia? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on it, your experience with it. Any other questions or comments that you have, drop those below as well. Thanks for watching.